I'm Debbie Homer Davis and welcome back to babylady.co.uk, and this is our how-to section of our new YouTube channel where we're answering some of the questions that you may have. Maybe you can't get into store, maybe you can't get someone to talk to you about the questions that you're worried about for your baby and your child's development. So we're going to talk today about boosters. So we don't sell boosters without backs. The government have said that really they've stopped manufacturing these. They're not safe because they do not add any protection whatsoever to your child. So you'll find it's very, very difficult to buy a booster on its own, and I would strongly recommend that you don't buy one or use one if you have one, because it won't add any protection. There is no protection here in the upper body. In a crash situation, all it does is raise the child up in the seat so that you can potentially put your own seatbelt around them. So having back to that, when is the right time to change your child into a booster seat? A lot of people ask this question. Obviously it does depend on the child's development. So it's very difficult to say your child should go into this seat at X age. But the government have set out in the new safety guidelines that your child shouldn't go into a booster seat until they're at least 105 centimetres and they weigh 15 kilos. Now the reason they need to be 105 centimetres is because when you put them into this, we really want the seatbelt to go through the guide, and we're just using a Maxi-Cosi Core Plus as our demonstration model, but this would be the same with any booster with a back. It will have a guide where your seatbelt will thread. And this seatbelt needs to sit on your child's shoulder. If it's coming above your child's shoulder and coming across their face here, that isn't safe, it isn't comfortable, and it won't do the job that it needs to do in an accident. So you need to make sure that your child is sitting in this correctly. It's also really important that your child's head sits in the safety zone in the head section of the car seat. And the car seat you should be buying should have good impact protection. All of the seats that we sell here passed quite a high level of safety for impact protection, so that if you are involved in a sideways accident, the head and the upper torso is protected. And if you put a child in one of these seats too small, you'll find their head is not sitting in the correct position, and that won't do its job. So if you can still get your child into your stage 1 seat, if their harnesses still fit, and what we mean by harnesses still fit is if you adjust the harnesses to the highest level and you can fit the harnesses safely without them coming deeply behind the shoulder. We want them to come level with the shoulder, and we don't want them to come above, and you can still get them in and their head is in the head section. Now in the second stage car seats, which we call stage 1, I know it's a bit confusing, but like we're talking child up to 4 here, their head can come slightly above. In fact, maybe we'll do a separate video on that. So a lot of people do take their children out of them too soon. In fact, we will do that, Zoe. That's a really good idea. We'll do that to show you when you shouldn't be taking your child out of them and when you should be using this. So going back to this again, don't use it until your child's 105 centimetres, at least 15 kilos. The reason they weigh 15 kilos is because this seat is tested to work in a crash situation at 15 kilos. If you put them in and they don't weigh enough, if there's no Isofix, it won't hold the seat in place in the car and the seat will move. Or if there is Isofix, again, it won't do the job it needs to do. Ideally, you want your child to be about 4 years old before they go into this seat. Obviously, we are guided by the other parameters like the height and the weight, but approximately 4 years old. And the reason we want them to be 4 years old is because at 4 years old they have an understanding about safety. You can explain to them that they mustn't undo the seatbelt. You've got to realise that there's only a seatbelt coming across them at this stage. There's no harness or no impact shield, anything else to keep them in place and keep them safe. So it is vitally important that they can understand the benefits of safety, which generally by the age of 4 they should be understanding that. If you do need any further information, do contact us at babylady.co.uk. We can arrange private appointments where you can come in, and we have worked out a way to sit your children in the seats hygienically and safely, while we obviously sanitize them before another person uses them, but we can do that. We can help you if you want to send us pictures. If you need to buy a second stage car seat and you don't want to come in, we can do it remotely as well. So if you do need further information, do contact us at babylady.co.uk. Thanks for watching.